Hi, my name is Leif, and in this video I'll be talking about some basic aspects of keeping reptiles and pets. I'll be breaking down important things to consider for the beginner, intermediate, and advanced keeper. When getting any type of animal, whether it's a goldfish, dog, reptile, or amphibian, you are taking on a responsibility and a duty. The responsibility you require when taking care of a pet is important because that animal is depending on you for its survival, as well as its basic needs, which are almost always more than just providing food and water. Each animal has different needs and care requirements, so you must educate yourself on the husbandry of a living creature before you take on the ownership of one. Now that you know some basic knowledge of owning a pet in general, let's talk about the specifics on what makes a beginner reptile. A beginner reptile is something that's low maintenance. If you're just getting your first reptile, you want to choose an animal that you can provide basic care for. It's crucial to know the potential size of the animal, how big of a space you'll need for it, how much space you'll need to store any accessories relating to your pet. It's true that the cost of an animal itself is a one-time expense, but the price of an enclosure for your pet and the price of its food could be ever-changing when keeping reptiles. While it's important to choose an animal that you can care for based on how much time you have to care for it, it's also wise to ask yourself if you're financially ready to take on this task. I have here a few examples of reptiles that I think make great beginner pets: crested geckos, smaller lizards and geckos, ball pythons, and smaller colubrid snakes like corn snakes, milk snakes, and other North American colubrid species. These are perfect pets for the beginner that are easy to obtain information about and are rather hardy species. I would consider a low-maintenance reptile to only take up about a half hour of your time each week. Also, these species will not take up a lot of real estate in your home. Once you have mastered the care of some beginner type of reptile species, you may be considering some more exotic options. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should own it, is what I like to tell people when they ask me if they should get something like a medium to large python species or other reptiles that could potentially require more tedious daily maintenance than, say, a ball python or a corn snake. A reptile that could be classified as something in the middle range is an animal that could take up more space in its adult years than most would want in their home. Or, its food choices may be harder for a person to obtain than, say, some crested gecko diet that you only have to buy every so often. It is important to research the potential size an animal can get. Reptiles grow for their entire life. They cannot stay in the same enclosure you have provided for them as a baby. Another thing to remember with more exotic options is mimicking their natural environment and recommended environmental temperatures well before your purchase. It's a good idea to set up your terrarium prior to purchasing the animal to make sure temperatures and humidity are perfect for your new pet. Some reptiles I think are suited for someone with a little bit of experience under their belt include carpet pythons, other medium-sized boa constrictors and python species, as well as lizard species like bearded dragons, water dragons, blue-tongued skinks, and frilled dragons. It takes experience to work with species that can potentially harm you, like monitor lizards, large constrictors including Burmese pythons, reticulated pythons, anacondas, and even lizards like iguanas, which have proven to many people that you need experience with less temperamental species first, before even considering to get one of these incredible animals. The daily maintenance and husbandry for species like the ones I've just mentioned are much greater than that of a beginner species. These species require and deserve large enclosures that take up a lot of space and almost always cost a pretty penny, unless you build it yourself. Not only can large constrictors and monitors cause harm to you with improper care and handling, but more often than not, people cannot handle these animals once they approach adult size, which is why only experienced handlers should care for them. Some examples of reptiles that are not suitable for a beginner also include green tree pythons, emerald tree boas, and any venomous reptile. More experience plus more research equals less error. Some great resources to learn more about your potential pet include kingsnake.com and reptilesmagazine.com. These places hold forums specific to the animal that you may want to get. Also, if you just search in Google, more often than not you can find a great reliable source, but make sure you try to find websites with .edu, .gov, and .org at the end, just for more reliable outcomes. And when in doubt, if you think your animal is unhealthy, please bring them to your qualified veterinarian in your area. It'll be worth it if you really care about your animal.